Iraq report that fighters of the Islamic militant group ISIS have carried out a massacre.
In between explosives laid by ISIS, entire sections of the city are destroyed.
We can see the people below, trapped on Sinjar mountain.
ISIS soldiers would brag about conquering Yazidi women and wiping their religion from the face of the earth.
اليوم هو يوم خاص بالنسبة لي. إنه اليوم الذي انتصر فيه الخير على الشر.
One of Europe's leading human rights prizes has been awarded to a 23-year-old activist, Nadia Murad.
A Yazidi victim of the Islamic State group who received a Nobel Peace Prize earlier this month.
In the years since her release, Murad has dedicated her life to fighting for the women still held by Daesh.
Nadia Murad is fighting for justice.
شعبنا وأحلامنا كرامتنا كلها تدمرت.
There's no running water or electricity in Sinjar. The city is almost deserted.
Sexualized violence against girls and women has been used as a weapon of war for a long time.
Nadia, you refuse to accept the social codes that require women to stay silent and ashamed of the abuses that they've been subjected to.
As of today, Nadia is a United Nations ambassador who will speak for survivors all over the world.
Campaigning to try to get the world to notice and do something.
The money helps support the hospital, so that must have been very gratifying.
المجتمع الدولي سيساعدنا في جعل هذا الأمر ممكنا من خلال خلق بيئة آمنة، من خلال المساهمة في هذا المشروع لإعادة بناء المناطق اليزيدية حتى تكون الخدمات الأساسية متوفرة لأولئك الذين يريدون العودة إلى ديارهم. ونرفع صوتنا سويا ونقول لا لاستغلال النساء والأطفال، نعم لتوفير حياة حرة كريمة لهم.
A powerful advocacy has helped to establish a vitally important United Nations investigation of the harrowing crimes that she and so many others endured.
ويمكن للعالم بشكل جماعي أن يبدأ في رسم خارطة طريق جديدة لحماية النساء والأطفال والأقليات من الاضطهاد.
We are honored to have Nadia Murad tell us her powerful story. We are honored to have Nadia Murad tell us her powerful story in her own words, and then she will join me for a question and answer conversation after. Now, please join me in welcoming my former student, Nadia Murad.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. What a pleasure it is to be opening this special 75th anniversary NAFSA conference. Being here in Washington, the city where I study, and having the opportunity to speak with people who share my passion for education is incredibly special. So thank you, NAFSA, and thank you, Dr. Fanta, for having me here today. I grew up in a small village called Kojo in rural Iraq. Our Yazidi community was nestled in the north of the country, closer to Syria and Turkey than Baghdad. In Sinjar, we were a tightly knit community rooted in agriculture. And when I was young, my family farmed onions and tomatoes. And my brothers, sisters, and I would kneel in a line in the muddy fields, pulling the onions out of the ground, holding our noses when we pulled out one that had rotted away. It was a simple life, one that revolved around the harvests and our festivals. But as much as I loved spending time in the fields with my brothers and sisters, it was into the arms of the sand-colored school, standing on the dusty edge of the village that I would run to each morning with my friends, dodging the famously ferocious neighborhood dogs. It was a big decision for all of our parents who had to weigh up whether it was better to send us to school or keep us at home to help with the work. I was lucky that my mother believed in the power of education. Her belief in the importance of schooling is why I'm able to stand here and speak to you today. My school in Kojo was a product of the Iraqi education system. Once revered across the Middle East, by the early 90s, the curriculum was a product of Saddam Hussein's nationalistic fervor. We were taught in Arabic because our native tongue of Kurmanji was seen as the language of rebellion. My people, the Yazidis, didn't exist in Saddam's history lessons, which were filled with tales of blood-soaked heroism. I later wondered if this was why, when ISIS began to let loose their horrors across the country, so many of our neighbors joined in or stood by. But despite these one-sided lessons, I studied my math and my literature, and I loved history. And thanks to school, my friends and I could see a future in which we would be part of the world, doctors, politicians, or teachers. But ISIS had other plans for us. They destroyed our families, our homes, our farms, and our community. They tried to take away our hope and future, and they very nearly managed. But despite all their atrocities, they couldn't take away our education. And my education, which started in a small schoolroom in Iraq, is continuing here in Washington. It's enabled me to advocate for my people in front of powerful politicians, in the glare of TV studio lights, and on podiums like this one, speaking with highly engaged activists. My education gave me a voice, and even though I had lost everything I held dear, I still had my education. I found that the ability to learn is not confined to one country or one classroom. It crosses borders and boundaries. And those of us who have had the privilege of a good education should never stop using it to make the world a better place. Lots of people ask me how we can do this. Of course, I don't have all the answers. But like you, I firmly believe that education can provide the fertile soil in which peace can grow. Both in the home and in the classroom, education teaches us about others, about respect, about kindness, and about love. It starts in the cradle with parents modeling compassion and tolerance of other people, treating boys and girls equally, celebrating differences and highlighting similarities. Once we start school through literature and history, we can appreciate each other's cultures and countries. We can more easily imagine their thoughts and feelings. Even now, nearly 9 years on from the genocide of my people, the Yazidis are still discriminated against. Our religion is still misunderstood. If you go online, you will find social media filled with hate speech from Iraqis and Kurds who, in their ignorance, call as devil worshippers, and then call for ISIS to finish what they started. This is so dangerous, and it could be prevented through education and the teaching of tolerance. My education has not been linear. In Iraq, my high schooling was interrupted whilst we waited for a school to be built. And although my Yazidi heritage wasn't mentioned, let alone celebrated, I knew even as a young girl, going to school, learning Arabic and struggling through my English lessons, I knew it was important. My female friends and I knew in our bonds that education would lead to better jobs and better wages. In fact, a single year of primary education has been shown to increase a girl's wage later in life by 20%. But more than this, educating that girl will also improve her family's future. It teaches her independent thinking, how to problem solve, how to communicate. She is likely to marry later and have less children, but safer births. She will experience less discrimination and will be able to make her own decisions. She is more likely to walk the corridors of power, making decisions that empower her community. And when you add all this up, crucially, she will be safer. Seen not as a commodity, as I was by ISIS, a thing to be sold and bought. Not as a domestic servant, as so many wives and daughters are. Not as a vulnerable person who is easy prey for violent abusers, but as an equal member of society. When women around the world are allowed an education, they can start to challenge the patriarchal norms of their societies. The Taliban know this. That is why teenage girls in Afghanistan are no longer allowed to attend school. It is why they shot my fellow Nobel laureate Malala. Their ideology sees women suitable just for housework and childbirth, never as active participants in their communities. So we must fight on a governmental level to get girls of all ages into schooling. The shocking statistic that 3/4 of the nearly 800 million illiterate people in the world are women must be addressed. But it is not just oppressive regimes and conflict that keep girls out of lessons. Poverty is a huge factor. And as they enter their teenage years, so does a lack of access to hygiene facilities. It is thought that 23 million girls drop out of school when they start menstruating. Nadia's initiative, my organization, which is working to rehabilitate Sinjar, has been focusing on this particularly. As we build schools, we are aware that girls need access to period products and proper washrooms. As we build schools, we are aware that girls need to feel safer at school. Their safety and comfort is paramount for us. And we have started vocational training and professional courses for women in Sinjar, so they can continue their education as long as they want. The longer we can keep girls in school, the better their prospects and the safer they will be. I know that every single one of you here believes in the transformative power of education. And I know that if we work together, we can achieve the impossible. We can instill tolerance and understanding. We can create schools and systems that support and welcome girls, empowering them to lead and change their communities. Education provides hope and opportunity. I'm living proof of that. Thank you so much.